Welcome to this edition of Diplomatic Passport here on Zimpaper's television network. The COVID show that gives you updates on the national statistics on COVID-19, our state of preparedness and the response to the pandemic in Zimbabwe, the region and beyond. My name is Robert Mkundiwa. Now, coronavirus is a pandemic that has almost literally brought the globe to its knees. And in Zimbabwe, it has shaken the foundations of the country again, with 11 cases now recorded as at last night, and the sad case of an additional mortality adding to the tally of one that we had previously. Zororo Makamba, the broadcaster, was the first casualty, and now an unnamed 79-year-old from Bulawayo joins that sad and unenviable roll call, and it seems the nation will still be counting. Now, in spite of the lockdown, authorities have barely taken advantage to arrest the virus by way of testing. It is a case that we shall be pushing and harping on about endlessly. Testing, testing, testing. And add to that, the government needs to start investing in the response by buying test kits. And as of today, the only test kits we have as a nation of over 13 million are 500 from the World Health Organization. The 20,089 from Jack Ma's Alibaba in China arrived but cannot be used as some do not have the reagents that are needed in the process, and the Higher Life Foundation is currently assisting to get those reagents. Banking concern EcoBank has donated 20,000 that are yet to be received by the nation. An additional 3,000 from the Global Fund, 15,000 from CHAI and 10,000 from UNICEF have been requested by the government, and of course those have not come as yet. So we still are on 500, and of course that number is getting smaller and smaller because of the handful of tests that are being held here and there. Now, there is a figure that Zimbabweans are mad about. They are absolutely livid. The number that Zimbabwe herself has bought for her own response, and that number is 0. Our viewers are irked that nothing is coming from Treasury or the taxpayers' reserves for their own benefit. While there's help coming, with all due respect to the people and institutions that are helping us, Zimbabweans don't pay tax to the World Health Organization or EcoBank, and surely something must be bought by government to show our own commitment. Today we heard news to the effect that Britain has availed 43.6 million United States dollars to Zimbabwe to help fight the coronavirus in the country. According to the UK Ambassador Melanie Robinson, it will be channeled to the response through the United Nations and other partners, and shall, quote, all be delivered through United Nations and other partners to make sure it gets where it's needed the most. We should have to show commitment by committing to ourselves and our own predicament, and not rely entirely on having a begging bowl out there. But as a plus though, earlier on, the head of the Procurement Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe, Nyasha Chizu, spoke to me and assured me and Zimbabweans that in tenders closed last Friday and under assessment, certainly test kits, personal protective equipment PPE, and ventilators were amongst the things out there for tender and in that tender drive. When that comes to pass, we shall be thankful indeed. Meanwhile, the mental health of people faced with the COVID certainly has impacted our population and the population of the world. Now, experts have warned that people may face increasing mental health issues during the COVID-19 pandemic. They say this public health disaster may take a toll on people, particularly those already struggling with common mental disorders such as anxiety, depression, and other conditions. According to the Ministry of Health and Childcare here in Zimbabwe, an estimated 1 million Zimbabweans suffer from mental health neurological disorders. Now, Zimpaper's television network caught up with psychiatrist Dr. Rukudzo Mwamukatsungu, who explained the correlation between the pandemic on those suffering from anxiety and depression during such times.
Actually, there is more of the indirect effect through the stress that the COVID-19 is actually causing, because it is global. There is no treatment for it, and there is a lot of uncertainty around, getting, be it vaccines or actual treatment for it, and whether you survive or not. So mainly it's about the kind of stress that it causes psychologically to people. There are different groups that are vulnerable to having mental health challenges in our society. One vulnerable group are the children, because children are not able to comprehend information as much as adults. They have heard a lot about the coronavirus from the adults talking about it, from the news and everything, but they don't comprehend it the same way and understand it as much as adults do. So they might be experiencing a lot of worry and feeling anxious, and tend also to show it differently.
Well, that was Dr. Rukudzo there speaking of the mental impact of the pandemic on the population. Next week, we shall feature an entire program when we discuss mental health matters in relation to COVID-19. And as you may know, mental health issues are usually left behind whenever there's a crisis, and yet they're of utmost importance to discuss and interrogate. Onto the lockdown story now, and many of you have been getting in touch with us to let us know what you have been doing in your various places around the world and indeed in this country with your families during lockdown. Let's see a few of your own stories.
Greetings, y'all. What's up? How you doing? My name is Willis Watafi Afirika, and I just finished doing the gym at home right next door, and I'm about to have breakfast. I'm at home, I'm chilling, I'm adhering to the rules and regulations of this lockdown, and I just want to say to everybody, like I always say, social distancing does not mean we stop caring for each other. So let's keep checking on each other and see how best we can get over this together. And I know that when all this is said and done, we all come out a great and united people. Pray for your friends out there, pray for the world, pray for everything else that is happening, and stop spreading conspiracy theories, please. But no facts as they are, and do your researches. And the most important thing is spread love and not corona. My name is Willis Watafi Afirika, and I decided to move my studio right next door to my next other room, and we're going to be doing concerts, the Watafi Experience live from the comfort of your home. So you guys are going to be enjoying that and listening parts to the new album that won the Zima and the Nama's Best Album of the Year, Uhuru Independence. And of course, most of you guys don't know about it and never heard it. So it is an opportunity for you guys to sit down and listen to it, but you can also check it out on YouTube, Willis Watafi Afirika, or www.watafi.com. You can also stream live or purchase. Willis Watafi Afirika, take care.
Hey everyone, this is Blessing Chisambi Nyaruwe from Adelaide, Australia. This is what my kids are up to during this lockdown.
Hi, my name is Vernon. I am a young Zimbabwean pilot based in Midrand, South Africa. Aviation being one of the most affected industries by the COVID-19 outbreak, we've had to suspend operations up until further notice. Therefore, what I'm doing personally during this lockdown phase is just using the time to prepare for what lies ahead of this phase, and that includes going through the theoretical aspects of aviation and just polishing up on my skills and knowledge, which I wouldn't have otherwise had time to do if I was flying every day. So hopefully when all this is over, we'll all get back to our normal routine, and we'll be proficient and better prepared to do what we love the most.
Very warm stories coming there from all around from you. Please keep those stories coming in. We really want to keep knowing what's keeping you busy in this lockdown. Of course, in that we heard that there's a pilot whose wings have been clipped by COVID-19. We saw a musician whose microphone has been hung by COVID-19, and we saw that family there. Although I must say, Blessing's kids ought to wash their hands longer. It must be 20 seconds under running water. Now in the United Kingdom, another person is in lockdown, and that person is Njabulo Nkomo, popularly known as the Tytan. After his less than calm breakup with ex-wife Olinda Chappell, one would have expected him to jump into the singles and searching scene. Sadly for him, COVID came along immediately. We catch up for a sneak chat with him from his England base in Birmingham, United Kingdom. Now, Tytan, welcome to the program. And you're single and searching and under lockdown. How has it been? How has the lockdown been in your own experience? And considering the high number of cases in the UK, how have you been making sure that you stay safe?
Pretty much, the lockdown has been hard because the UK is pretty much a very busy country. So everyone is busy. Everyone is up and down doing something. Because everything has everything to do with time. So time literally is money here. So if you're not working, you're not getting money, especially for a lot of migrants who came in and they do a lot of agency work, whether it's in the NHS or anywhere else. It's pretty much almost like it's part-time work. But if you have a good job, of course, that's pretty much permanent. You get your money anyway whilst you're at home. But for people like me, I'm a musician and also I'm a graphic designer. So everything is project-based. So based on your booking, really. So if your clients aren't busy, then you're not of no use to them. So it's been hard. But we've all been keeping safe. I live alone, so I've been by myself anyway. But it's been three weeks for me, not 2 weeks, because the first week I got sick. So before the lockdown, I had the symptoms. Then the symptoms went when the lockdown was starting. Then all of a sudden I had chicken pox. I don't know where I got that from, and I had to sort myself out. So yeah.
Oh my goodness, it must be very tough getting chicken pox at such an age. And you mentioned there that you had symptoms. Were you then tested for COVID-19, and what prescribed measures were taken to help you out?
No, I didn't actually. Pretty much what they do is they encourage you to stay at home. I called 111 and they said you need to stay at home, and they advise you on what to do whilst you're at home, which is that's why they encourage people to self-isolate. You drink your water, you have to have your vitamins, ginger, lemon, pretty much the home remedies. So if it escalates from there, it becomes bad. But then again, they were monitoring me very much. I kept getting calls, even from my support worker. So because I'm high risk, because I'm asthmatic. So since it's a respiratory illness, they kept checking up on me. So I was fine later on. But then again, sometimes I think it's in the head. So you think you're sick, but you're not exactly sick. It's in the mind sometimes, I think.
I can imagine, Tytan. Of course, that's why they introduced the placebo. But unfortunately, we'll just have to leave it there for the program today. Tytan there giving us a bit of his take on the lockdown. Now, we shall be featuring him a hell of a lot more as we visit him in Birmingham, while he redirects his efforts at rebuilding that career and becoming the star he's no doubt destined to be. Now, the urban impact of lockdown is something that we've documented over the past weeks. But the rural impact has yet to be assessed aptly. We traveled over the weekend to Mashonaland East, and to them, the story of COVID-19 is mixed, as is their response to whether to lock down or not. Lockdown in rural Zimbabwe on the northeastern route that runs from the capital Harare to Nyamapanda, joining the southern African nation with its neighbor Mozambique. With coronavirus having breached the country's frontiers, it is the rural folk that are now being targeted by information blitzes that encourage them to stay at home. At corner store along the route, the message has hit home. So has the reality of the virus and its implications. But importantly, so too has poverty. In this nation where many are informal traders, staying at home and not trading their wares is something they can ill afford to do.
isusu tinorarama nekutengesa panzvimbo yepacorner store. Tinorima zvinhu zvishomanana, dzimwe nguva zvinhu zvisingakwani kuti tiende kuHarare tinotengesa tichibata mari yakawanda kamwe chete. Saka tinonyazotengesa zvishoma nezvishoma tiri pacorner store. Saka takutochemawo kuti nekorona iyoyi vanhu vakutotora mukana wekukwidza mapuraizi mumashops. Mafuta chaiwo takutotenga 150 2 liters. Apa ini ndienda uya kuzotengesa pisi idzodzidzi ndototengesa mapeki kana 20 kana kuti 30 kuti ndigone kuti nditengewo mafuta ekuenda kunobikira vana. Saka zvinhu zvakutotiomera tachitokumbirawo kuti dai zvaiita kuvakuru vedu vagone kutionawo vaonewo zvekutiitira kunzvimbo yecorner store nekuti hatichazivi kuti toita sei.
Further on in Mutoko Center, only the rare pharmacy is open. The usually busy town is dead quiet. Everyone is home. Elsewhere at Jembere Shopping Center, activity on the busy road to All Souls Catholic Mission is dead. The people have heeded and stayed at home. Kanuka Indiga is a local who is self-employed and would otherwise be all over the villages as an electrician and handyman. In lockdown today, he's not staying at home. Instead, he's at the nearby freshwater dam, fishing alongside his mates. Interestingly though, they are keeping their distance from each other. Whether social distancing has come to the rurals or they just don't want to battle for the few fish in the dam, no one can guess.
Lockdown is either good, and my side effects or my good effects. Because it's like you are meeting our family, we are walking around, pamba uchona utimabasa, mama waipa wangu uchipamari, otherwise wakaganoga gadzira wek, matanga mumbeta ugadzirisa, everything. It's like sand. We are supposed to go to church, but then condition is to musaende ku church. Saka otherwise tatongoona kuti kuzorora sezuva raMwari. Mutongo yangu weta fishing. Otherwise kana ndabata 2-3 ndoda kutengesa, totenga masupu angu ndoenda kumira padeni. Ndowana muriwo kucho. Tinonetsa ndochokuti pamwe pacho unogona kuona ma weakness. Pamwe pacho unozopedzera kuti adai wabuda zvawo pamba, but pamwe pacho unoita unongochitogadzirisa wangu unozoti it's okay. Because dead waripo uri kugadzirisa apa, uri kugadzirisa apa. Musha is looking good.
Down at Lot Business Center, there is a lockdown, but vendors are selling surreptitiously. They have to make a living. Back at the Mutoko Center, the local clinic is also being cautious. Strict vetting is underway. Some are allowed in depending on the seriousness of their needs.
Aiwa so varutishandira zvakanaka pachipatara panapa. Kana vanhu vachizorapwa. Kazhinji zvachona tiri kunze kuno. Vanhu varenga vakatogepana. Panopinda 1 by 1. Vogeza maoko pamberi apo. Vozopinda mukati imomo. Patori nemvura nemushonga inenge iri papo vogeza vorapwa. Vobuda. Umwe wopinda techingochinjana pagedhi ipapo. Semawirire atinenge takaita techingozivana asati ungani. Zvinenge zvingotaura nemanesi techingovatera vamwe vanenge vari uko sapa netumuti vamwe vari uko techingozivana mamiriro atinenge.
And if Mutoko Center is dead by day, then by night that numbness goes a gear up. A major road and truckers' route has been silenced by the COVID-19 lockdown. Interesting responses there that we got from that rural trip to Murewa, Mutoko and surrounding environs. You may be on lockdown and unable to go there, but we go there for you to ensure that you know what is happening to your loved ones on the ground around the country. And indeed, we're seeing, as you're following Diana Shingima Vunduse, Trust Alma, and we also have out there, we've got Lynette N. Manzini, who is watching with us, Valentine Ombojena. Thank you for your comments, and please keep those coming, because this is your show. Tell us what you want us to do, where you want us to go, and of course, we will deliver. However, when we went to Mutoko, there was a special tale that was underreported in the past week. It was actually the start of Holy Week last weekend, where ordinarily religious people were expected to conduct processions with palm leaves, crucifixes depicting Christ, and candles. But they stayed at home and the palms were spared. We looked at a religious area and shrine in Mutoko which would have been thronged over the past weekend, and came across a few believers who were defying the lockdown. However, they too eventually changed their ways, and here's their story. With the lockdown in Zimbabwe being affected, the question was how the message had reached the key rural communities. Mutemwa in Zimbabwe's northeastern town of Mutoko is one such place where people gather. considered a holy mountain, it is the place where the Englishman widely regarded as a Catholic saint-elect, John Randall Bradburn, lived, prayed, and died. Now thousands gather there each year to pray, seeking intercession and a meeting with God. While there may be lockdown, when our team arrives, the faithful are gathered in spite of the lockdown. It is prayers as usual. However, on the morrow, lockdown sends its word up the mountain of God. The authorities, soldiers and police, are rumored to be on their way up the mountain. The people do not wait to test the patience of the authorities and start to make their way down the mountain. What was supposed to be the start of Holy Week with the religious going up to meet God on Palm Sunday becomes an unceremonious departure from God. And today is Palm Sunday. Usually, this place will be packed with believers, Catholics and people from all walks of life. But today, nobody is in sight. Instead, word has come here that there may be people from the authorities coming up here to make sure the few believers that were here congregated from last night are herded and shepherded away from this mountain for their own safety. Indeed, they are leaving God and have to meet Him elsewhere. Old and young, they have heard stories of coronavirus and understand what they can about this phenomenon that threatens even their rituals of faith. The people descend and instead are leaving God on the mountain, abandoned, forlorn, alone. But they have some consolation. In His omnipotence, they will find Him in their daily lives, at home and in their daily chores as they start to heed the lockdown in deed and word. They will meet God and continue to commune with Him, just not at the mountain. Indeed, they will meet God elsewhere, just not on the mountain, not for the while, because they have to stay at home in order to stay safe. Now, on that holy note, we have to leave you. Tomorrow, join me at the same time as we take another tour on our diplomatic passport. Continue to write to me on robinkundiwa at ztn.co.zw or my Twitter handle at zimrobbie, that's ZIMROBBIE, with feedback. I'm Robin Kundiwa. Good evening, God bless, and stay safe.